We are in the midst of the international break, and whilst the boys aren't in action, there is still news surrounding the club. In today's video, we'll go over all the latest Celtic news from the last 24 hours. That includes a big update on Chiefs pocketing cash. There is so much to cover in today's video. And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Before we do get into today's video, as always, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Matt O'Reilly has shared details of a prank executed by teammate Cameron Carter-Vickers aimed at Stephen Welsh. O'Reilly describes Carter-Vickers as a loose cannon within the team, particularly when it comes to orchestrating dressing room pranks. For a player who comes across as so reserved and like he keeps himself to himself, it is quite surprising to hear Carter-Vickers is up to this mischief. The prank in question involved Carter-Vickers clamping Welsh's car tyre, leading to an unexpected and somewhat embarrassing situation for Welsh. Welsh discovered his clamped car and was forced to take an Uber to the American defender's apartment to retrieve the keys for the clamp. O'Reilly shared the story on Celtic TV. It wasn't to me, but Carter-Vickers is a loose cannon. I don't know if everybody knows this, but he is. When it comes to pranks, something clicks in his brain and he's got a real joy about doing it. I think it is between him and Welshie. I'm not even sure I'm allowed to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. He ended up clamping Welshie's car tyre, driving all the way back home, and Welshie went out to his car and saw what happened. He didn't know what to do, and ended up having to drive all the way to Cam's apartment via an Uber. Cam then gave him the keys and then he had to go back. It just shows the dedication he puts into actually seeing a prank through. Cameron Carter-Vickers is at the next town during the international break after a tough season with injuries. Brendan Rodgers is managing the players' game time, attempting to minimise the risk. He brings so much to the team when he plays, and you can see the team misses his presence when he's off the pitch. Hopefully he gets through the break okay and is in the lineup for Levingston away if the medical team doesn't have too many concerns about the plastic pitch. John Hartson believes Mikey Johnson has a genuine opportunity to revive his career at Celtic, following an impressive loan spell at West Brom. Despite struggling to make a significant impact in Glasgow, Johnson's form in the English Championship has been remarkable, netting 6 goals in 10 games. These goals haven't been tap-ins either, they've been strikes of pure quality. This surge in performances has not only caught the attention of West Brom supporters, who are eager to see his loan deal made permanent, also of pundits and fans back in Scotland. Brendan Rodgers, who sanctioned Johnson's move, is seen by Hartson as likely to give the winger another chance to prove himself at Celtic upon his return. The key for Johnson, according to Hartson, will be to replicate his current form in the high-pressure environment of Celtic Park, where expectations and standards are considerably higher than in the Championship. These comments come off the back of Rodgers' comments about the pressure of playing for Celtic is different to West Brom. Hartson said on Go Radio via Record Sport, "This is a really interesting one. When Brendan Rodgers said that he needs to move a few on, a lot of the Celtic fans would have put Mikey Johnson in that because his performances for Celtic have not been at the level that Rodgers has been looking for. Now you go and send him to West Brom and people are saying we should have kept him, give him chances, etc. But in all fairness, Celtic were not in a position to give lads opportunities. They have to go with win games. So Brendan maybe needs to go with his more tried and trusted experience. I'm glad for Mikey that he is doing so well. West Brom is a big club, they are going for promotion back into the Premier League, and some of the goals he has scored have been fantastic. But remember, he is only on loan, so Celtic will see more of Mikey Johnson. It is just a case of the player himself when he comes back making a similar impact back at Celtic, where the pressure is multiplied a lot more, and not being disrespectful to the Championship, he has to perform every single week at Celtic. There is no hiding place, so when he comes back eventually it's going to be down to him to put those type of performances shown at West Brom. Sometimes maybe a player needs to go out on loan to discover himself again and put in some good performances. He's responded exactly how Brendan Rodgers will have wanted him to do so. Keep going, be positive and go do well at your loan club. Your stock is then a little bit higher and 1 or 2 other clubs may be interested, but Celtic hold the player. He's a Celtic player, there is no doubt he will come back and there's no doubt he will have another opportunity at Celtic. There is no optimism within the industry circles that UEFA will take money out of the pockets of teams like Celtic in order to increase solidarity payments, Football Insider has learned. That is despite recent calls from the European League organisation for UEFA to increase the cash that it distributes to clubs not participating in the Champions League, Europa League or Conference League. While the exact amount varies from year to year, it is understood that around 4% of UEFA club competition revenue will be distributed to non-participating clubs by the end of the 2023-24 season, equating to around £140 million. For context, Celtic alone earned £30 million from UEFA during the group stage this season. The solidarity payment pot, by contrast, is split between over 650 clubs after it is distributed to the national associations. The European Leagues, the body that represents 40 leagues, including the Premier League and EFL, on governance matters, is now lobbying for a 10% share of eligible revenues. Based on this season's figures, that setup would see £250 million go to non-participating clubs around Europe annually. But industry sources have told us that even with UEFA revenue set to grow following the introduction of an expanded Champions League from 2024-25, there is little hope that the increase can be achieved. The European Leagues has no constitutional mechanism through which to bring about the change, and is effectively relying on its lobbying power and goodwill from UEFA. Sources have told us that relations between the two bodies have grown stronger since they faced down to mutual threat posed by the breakaway Super League plot in April 2021. But that alone will not be enough to get European football governing body to reallocate a significant proportion of its wealth away from its key stakeholders, namely elite clubs like Celtic. The offside rule is one that many Celtic fans will want changed after Saturday, with 3 goals against St Johnstone ruled out for offside. The International Football Association Board are continuing to explore modifications to the offside rule. The current interpretation of Rule 11.1 on offside position determines a player to be in an offside position if any part of their body, head or feet is in the opponent's half and nearer the opponent's goal line than both the ball and the second last opponent. In an effort to refine the game further and potentially increase the number of legitimate goals scored, IFAB have approved further trials of a revised offside rule. This marks the 3rd year of experimentation with a rule change aimed at altering the criteria for what constitutes an offside position. Under the proposed adjustment, a player will only be deemed offside if their entire body is ahead of their second to last opponent. This proposed modification could have significant impact on the game, potentially leading to more attacking play and goals by narrowing the conditions under which a player can be flagged offside. Celtic fans, what do you make of what we discussed in today's video? In particular, the offside rule change and John Hartson's words about Mikey Johnson and his potential future at Celtic beyond his loan campaign at West Bromwich Albion. Let us know down in the comment section below. That brings us to the end of today's video, guys. Make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you, take care, bye bye.